the curb, and nobody really wants to believe him, and he basically just makes it happen with sheer force of will. He gambles way more money than he could ever pay back in hopes of trying to get these things to work, and nearly loses his life uh, a couple times in the process, but sort of miraculously makes these things happen. And it's a story of sort of tenacity and self will, but also it's a cautionary tale because he sacrifices a lot on the way in terms of his family, in terms of his friendships and his relationship with other people. And it really makes you sort of appreciate, I think, the music from that era in a much different kind of way, because it shows you how easily a lot of that music could have never happened and would have never made it, to our ears and part of the, soundtrack of our lives at this point. So it's really fascinating kind of character study, and it was really challenging and amazing and fun to get to play this character that most people in the world have no idea ever existed. Although he was very notorious in the community, people that do know him. I've talked to a few people that were like, "Oh, you're playing that guy? Interesting." And I think we tell the story in a really cool way, kind of play with time and in a really interesting way. And I get to sing a little bit here and there. And he tried to be a singer early on in his career. It didn't work out, but he you can kind of tell that he always longed to be on the stage, but kind of was relegated to being behind the scenes and had to make his peace with that. And I think part of the reason he was so successful is because he was determined to succeed at something. And it's a really cool story.
Did you have an appreciation for 70s music before this? I mean, who doesn't love a little Donna Summer?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, I knew a lot of it. I didn't know all of it, but I mean, I certainly knew a lot of it. I mean, my parents grew up listening to that music, and I'd certainly heard most of the songs, but I definitely had a much bigger appreciation for it afterwards. And what's great is in the movie we have modern artists portraying all of these characters. We have Lettucey playing Gladys Knight, this great young artist named Taylor Parks playing Donna Summer, uh, Sam Harrison from what's the band that he's in? Uh, Ex Ambassadors is Kiss, and Casey Likes. They're both in Kiss. And Casey's like this young guy who's just started in this Broadway show and almost famous. And then we have Bill Isley is played by why is my brain not working? D. There's a D.
You're asking,
Jason Derulo. Jason
oh, yes,
Derulo. And we have
I
Wiz
knew that.
Khalifa playing George Clinton from Parliament. So like we have all these great sort of modern stars. I'm gonna brush up on this before I start to impress with this movie. And it's really exciting. So it's gonna be like a cool soundtrack and everything.
Is it true that Justin Timberlake was supposed to play the lead role?
Yeah, I think so. For like a long time ago, this movie's been kicking around for like almost 20 years or something crazy like
Wow.
that. And I think it was like with Sony at one point, and for whatever reason, that situation changed, and they looking for a new guy, and here comes this
Here,
guy.
here you are. Is
Yeah.
there a lot of pressure, like you said, like you're number one on the call sheet, like lead, do you feel that as like you lead up to doing press for this movie? Or is it no, like you do the project, you do the press, or is there something different about, headlining a major movie?
I don't know. Ask me in 4 months. But I'm not worried about that aspect of it. No, I'm excited about it. I mean, I've been thinking about it for almost 4 years now, and so I'm just like, let's go, because I'm excited. It's a really big opportunity for me. It's the biggest thing I've ever done by far. And so I'm just really excited to share it with the world. I've seen, and I think it's really special. And I hope everybody else agrees. And I'm just excited to see people's reaction and where that goes, and then where I go from there. It's kind of a wild prospect that I'm excited to finally get to see what that means. I've been thinking about it for years now. It's like, what's this gonna be like? And I get to finally sort of realize that, hopefully in a good way.
Just don't you're not going to read the reviews, good or bad. So, but
No, I won't. There's gonna be so many, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm sure people will send me something, email me like, oh my God, look at this. Great. Just send me the cliff notes. Clip the good parts and then send that to me. That'd be great.
well, I'll ask you all about it. You'll just have to come back on this podcast and we can talk all about it.
Great.
Hallmark, speaking of this Hallmark movie, Hallmark is such a guilty pleasure for so many people. Like we said, like, do you have guilty pleasures? Like, are you into like certain TV shows that you loved? Like, what do you watch in your
Oh
spare
yeah.
time?
I am a card carrying member of Bachelor Nation. And so I watch all that stuff. So
So
yeah, I
you
love
do
that.
see you're like into the reality genre, just not Housewives or Kardashians.
I'm into the young people and they're and desperately trying to find love, because it's it's less about, you know, let's troll these people, and it's more about like, let's watch these people try to figure out if A, they know what they're doing and how to do it, and B, like there's often so much growth within these shows too, and you see people really learn about themselves, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I've been in a long relationship. I mean, my wife and I have been together for over 13 years now, and it's nice to sit back and be like, I don't have to do that anymore. And I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a guilty pleasure. I mean, there's something sort of oddly satisfying about it. And, of course, there are many times that I sit there and like, I don't understand how these people can be okay with their lives being like so transparent. And I
Yeah.
think, but it's kind of beautiful in many ways too. So like, of course, and then I watched, Love is Blind. I watched Too Hot to Handle, which is the guiltiest of the pleasures because, and
F Boy Island.
I haven't watched that one. I yeah, and there's so many. I'm like, should I start a new one? Or I think I have enough.
Those are good. Like, I mean, those are you like the young, hot people that are dating on TV. I get it. And you're such a
Yeah.
positive spin that you put on it that they learn something about themselves during this. That's such an optimistic view of the whole genre.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie and say I don't enjoy the sort of, watching train wrecks happen, but I feel that maybe, and maybe it's happening more now lately, is that I do feel that people are more aware of it, and like you're seeing a lot of, people standing up for each other, and almost always when people are trolls or they're kind of crappy or like not great human beings to one another, they get called out for it. And you watch people either taking that and learning and trying to become better people, or B, just further spiraling down into a dark hole. And often, more often than not, I feel like people do learn from it and at least try to become better. And so, there are positive messages within those shows too. And, I have to sort of believe that in this age of social media and, Uber connectivity, that there are positive things to be gained from it, other than just trolling and bullying and negative self-image.
I would hope so. Is there anything on Broadway, that you really want to see? Like everyone's flocking to Leah Michelle and Funny Girl. Like, have you seen that yet? Is there anything in particular on your list of Broadway shows that you want to see?
I am so behind on the Broadway shows. I've not seen so many things. But yeah, there's a lot of things I would like to see. I really want to see um well, I have a lot of friends in Almost Famous, so I really want to see that. I was a little bit hesitant to see the MJ show, but I've heard so many great things that I think I would like to see that. They just opened Top Dog Underdog on Broadway, which is one of my absolute favorite plays, and I love that show. Um, what else? What else is on Broadway? I don't even know.
Those are good.
Um, yeah, those that'll be my answer for now because I'd have without looking at a list, I'm just like